Yeah, because that one's already filming.
Good morning. My name is Dr. Felice Cellini, and I'm blessed and grateful to be in recovery. Welcome to our Sunday morning Why Wait for Recovery community meeting.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Haiti, and I'm so blessed and grateful to be here today on this awesome Sunday morning. I am a compulsive overeater. I'm a binge eater. I'm a purger. I am a food addict. I'm also a drug addict in recovery.
And I'm a drug addict, alcoholic, anorexic in recovery. Recovery part's the important part for me right now because I get to define myself by my recovery as opposed to defining myself the way that I look when I'm in active addiction, which is pretty disgusting. So anyway,
So for
yes.
everyone who's new, who's joining us, we have these weekly meetings where we're friends that discuss how we are in recovery, what we do to stay in recovery. You can join us either in our virtual waiting room. If you go to weight.net, you can register there and step into the room. You can live stream us on Facebook, or you can also live stream us on YouTube.
Okay, so we're having some technical difficulty. So I don't know if the people out there in our virtual room can hear us. And so if you can, please go ahead and send us a message on Facebook. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
So yesterday we had this amazingly kind of difficult workshop. And I just want to, as I put up yesterday, I want to say thank you to the people that attended. I want to thank them for being a part of my recovery, and I want to commend them for being so courageous. It's scary to look back at our addiction and look into ourselves about not just that, okay, I'm eating too much or I'm drinking too much, but what's making me do the things that I'm doing? What are my thoughts? What's behind my actions? And most importantly, am I willing to do whatever it takes to get well? And so that's what we're going to talk about this morning, is the willingness to do whatever we need to do or whatever we choose to do to get well.
So willingness is really interesting when we talk about workshops, because I had someone contact me 2 days ago who said, I'd like to find out more about Why Wait for Recovery. What is it? How do we participate? I said to her, it's not a diet program. It's the one thing that we absolutely are not. And she goes, well, I don't know, that might be too difficult for me. So I think the thing is, I think as a food addict, I've always, in the beginning when I first walked in, abstinence is key for us in terms of cleaning out our thinking. I'm an addict, it doesn't matter whether it's food, drugs, whatever it is, cigarettes, I can pick up something else. The big thing is it masks how I'm feeling, so I don't need to deal with where I'm at right now. I thought recovery was a diet program. I thought if I stopped eating the things I was eating, everything would be okay and I'd feel great. The thing is, I gained and lost over 600 pounds in my lifetime, and I knew that if a diet worked, it would have worked the first time.
So I love when people, I have to interrupt you. I love when people say that it's so difficult, but it's not so difficult to go to your doctor every week or have injections every day or have a major surgery or spend thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars on stuff that we think is a quick fix, right? When you talk about your dieting, it's like, okay, what can I do right this second that's going to make me look better, when in fact, I'm not going to feel any better. And not only am I not going to feel any better, but I will gain the weight back, which everybody does.
Right.
Any food addict does. And then they feel even more demoralized than they did to begin with, right?
Right, and I think because it is such a superficial thing, we think if we thin, we'll be happy and everything will be perfect. Thin's got nothing to do with it. The size of clothing that I wear isn't a reflection of what's going on in here and how I'm feeling here. Not smoking cigarettes and craving them or craving food or craving drugs or any of that stuff is the stuff that starts driving me crazy, because that's all I'm thinking about. In the end, that's all that is all that I think about, and I miss what is happening around me, and I miss those connections with people, and I miss living life in the moment, because I'm either projecting to the future or living in the past.
Yeah, and so if we want to step into recovery, we talk about being abstinent. The first 7 to 10 days, we feel horrible physically, and then we get to look at how we're feeling spiritually which is what's driving our problem physically, what's driving our using. And so we're going to learn to look at us, like I said, and what are we afraid of, and what are we not in acceptance of. And then we will talk about what am I willing to do to change besides spending money and going to the doctor and starving myself for a while. What is it that I'm willing to do to change what's happening inside of me, so that my insides and my outsides can match a little bit better, and so I could live a life and be happy and wake up in the morning not hating myself this morning, and going to bed not disgusted, and waking up and not feeling demoralized, waking up and saying, hey, you know what, today's Sunday, like, let's go, run a meeting. I'm looking forward to seeing my friends and talking about today and planning for the future. So we're going to talk about some willingness.
Right, and I also just want to touch on workshop. Why this is, as I said before, this is not a diet program. So it's not a quick fix. It's not like I stop using and I step into recovery and I get recovered.
And we're happy.
And I'm happy and everything's
happily ever after because
and
we didn't eat, spaghetti today.
it's not that kind of thing. For me, I never got this way overnight. It took a process to be where I am and who I am today. I'm not going to be recovered in a minute because my brain still follows me no matter where I am. So for me, hopefully, this part comes with me. For me, workshops are important because it helps to learn more, not so much about the problem, but me, where the problem, the problem lies here. It's not so much what I'm looking in, because I've been abstinent a really long time. For me, it is the thinking that is perpetual and it keeps coming back, and that's what follows me. Workshops help me find out, why am I thinking the things that I'm thinking that make me feel the way that I'm feeling, so I can actually start stepping into those feelings and start acknowledging them or finding ways of dealing with them other than picking up and hurting myself as being the solution.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm going to start with Liz. Good morning, Liz. It's really great to see you today.
And can you guys speak up a little bit? We're having trouble hearing.
Oh, can you hear me, hon?
Connect the Jabra.
Can you? Good morning. So do we have that on?
Yeah.
You know what, Liz? I can't hear you, sweetheart. So give me 1 second.
Just
yes.
check with Laura.
I'm going to start with Bonnie, and then we'll go around this way. Laura, can you hear me? Can you say good morning?
You're muted, Laura.
Unmute yourself, hon. Yeah, I can't hear them. Okay. All right.
My friend said she can hear.
Yeah. Okay. Good morning, Bonnie. So how was it yesterday?
It was really good. I will fast forward to today, and I had another to do with my husband.
Okay, fair enough.
Oh, that husband.
And so the thing is that Bonnie's going to learn is that her husband is her husband.
Right.
He wakes up the same person that he is every day, right?
Yes.
This is about you and your perspective, right? And the difference between acceptance and a boundary. So go ahead. You got 15 seconds. Go.
Well, it was really great. I was supposed to wake him up at 7. I didn't, and he's rushing to get his car fixed. And the thing that triggered me was he kept on saying, like how I didn't wake him up, how didn't I wake him up, I didn't wake him up. And that got me upset. But he called in the car and he explained all you had to do was listen. And then I said, okay. And it was great. He goes, that's all I wanted.
Okay. Yay.
And I was like,
So that was a little teeny tiny tool. Yeah, and so sometimes we could let people be who they are because it's not about us, right?
yeah.
If you made a mistake and you forgot to wake your husband up and he's upset, it doesn't mean you're an idiot. It means you made a mistake.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times it's going to be that he just wants you to hear him say, hey, or let him get angry and say, okay.
Yeah.
Right, worked out a lot better than when you pick up a sand to dance.
Right.
Right? And when you have to be right.
Mm-hmm.
Because today you didn't have to be right, you just got to be happy.
Yes.
Yes.
And I see the strain of that codependency of, because he was getting upset, and I don't want him to have his blood pressure go up, etc. But that has nothing to do with me.
Nothing to do with you, man. You don't raise his blood pressure, he does.
Right.
Oh,
So
good for you.
yeah, so it was good, and I was happy.
Good for you. And you showed up smiling this morning, so that's great for you. So I'm glad that you're feeling well this morning.
Thank you.
Okay. Hi.
Hi, how are
Long
you?
time no see.
I know.
It's
been
really
ages.
nice to see you.
Thank you. It's nice to be here. I was away for 10 days.
Awesome. So we're
Yesterday I missed the workshop because.
Okay. So you'll do, and you've done workshop before.
Yes.
Yeah, and it ain't easy, right?
No,
No,
it's good. It's
it's
really
not.
good. I liked it.
Yeah.
We'll be here next week.
Yeah, do your homework and get here next week. Talk to, so you have some time, not only abstinent, but in recovery.
Yes.
And can you talk about willingness, please?
Well, I can say that this time when I came into recovery, I was 100% willing to do whatever whatever it took to get sober, clean and sober. Drugs and alcohol were my addictions. I was just so tired of feeling the way that I felt and living the way that I lived, and feeling the way that I felt about myself and about everything. My perception, my perspective was way off. My reaction to things was just ridiculous. Everything was just ugly. And so I was completely willing, and that made all the difference in the world, because I had tried recovery before and it didn't work because I kept holding back a lot of different things. This time I had to have it.
And I think willingness starts, right, with us willing to be honest with ourselves.
Absolutely.
And to understand what's going on with us, and to be able to take a look at us and realize that we are the reason that we feel the way that we feel.
The problem. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was the reason.
Right, and that our perspective is the challenge, and that life happens to everyone, and it's how we look at the world and how long we decide. When we have normal human emotions, when we're sad, when we're angry, when we're scared, and we know that all of the negative emotions that we have are fear-based, right? What am I afraid of losing, or what am I not going to get, right? And when we look at all that fear-based stuff, we say, okay, we're human beings, so today I'm scared. But I don't have to stay here for as long as I stayed here before. I don't have to stay angry. I don't have to be right. Right, Bonnie? I could let that go. I don't have to be right. I could say okay, right? Because it's not about me. Learning those little tiny things that make you happier, right? You did a lot of work in the workshop last time. And I think that helped you dig a little bit deeper into
Yes.
yourself and had some really good insights. And I'm really glad that you're in workshop this time too, because when you've gone through it before, not only are you going to learn more the second time, but everybody gets to learn more. Yeah, I'm really glad that you're going to be here next week. So thank you. Good morning. How are you feeling this morning?
Really good for the first time in a long time.
Good.
Not health-wise, but emotionally.
Yeah, and even yesterday you weren't as angry as you've been.
Right.
Yeah.
So I left here all gung-ho to have lunch correctly.
Mm-hmm.
I went to Whole Foods. I made myself this big, nice salad, and I put tuna and everything, and I was like, yes.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, my fiance and I went out to, like, a really awesome nightclub party dance thing, and ate like a pig, both of us.
You know,
But I woke up today with this.
Good.
So it's a new day.
It's a clean slate.
But I tried yesterday.
Okay, so
I never
there's
tried really in
right.
a long time.
Okay, so you did yesterday for one of your meals, and again, we're going to talk about, you guys, abstinence. We got to clean up that dopamine receptor, and so until we do, we get to beat ourselves up day after day after day after day about our bad behavior.
But I wouldn't even know like what to do at one of these places that we go. You know.
Okay, so we're going to
have healthy options.
We'll talk about that after, because let me tell you something. When I go out to some place like that, or if I went out to a bar, you know, I can have water, and you're not starving to death. So if you go out to dinner and they don't have a healthy option, first of all, was it you that said that you check the
menu,
right?
Yeah.
Check the menu before you go, and if there's not going to be anything, then have a piece of chicken before you go out.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah.
Right, and that solves that. That's not a problem. It's a little bit of a challenge, and it's. No, it doesn't. What sucks is how you were feeling.
Yeah.
What sucks is how you feel when you wake up in the morning after you used. What sucks is feeling demoralized. Eating a piece of chicken doesn't suck. Let's put it into perspective.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you have to remember those parts too. Or my hope for you is that you're going to choose to remember that as great as you felt, and remember for you, you got to get that time in abstinence so that you could start working on that recovery. And so it's okay that yours are going hand in hand in the beginning, I think that you learned a lot in workshop
A
yesterday.
lot.
I beat you up a little bit yesterday in workshop, and that was okay. You know, we talked about choice, and when we talk about willingness, the fact that you showed up and you showed up again today, good job, you.
So, I just wanted to the new people who are joining us, what we're speaking about is that we've been doing the same behaviors over and over and over again for so long that change is always a difficult thing for many of us. So when I was in active addiction, I would do the same thing. I'd have this talking in my head and these conversations in my head that justified what I was doing and why the chaos and all the other stuff around me and all this jabber going on, why it was okay to keep picking up. And that change was a process. It didn't happen instantaneously. It was a long process, and I still have that jabber in my head as well. It doesn't stop. So the question then becomes, I'm making different choices. You know, the one thing I have control over is the choices that I make. And as a food addict, in the beginning, support of my husband who supported me, so we found other things to do to make it easier for me to transition in the beginning. So we'd go to art walks, we'd go to movies, we'd do other things other than being places. It's like hanging out in a bar if you're an alcoholic, trying to stop using, you know. So it really becomes different choices that we make besides putting, you know, if we don't put it in our body, it's not going to hurt us, but it's getting to that point. You know?
And then there's also something to be said about, you know, your fiance brought you here, right, last week?
He's so mad at me.
Right?
He's like, you go and talk to that lady, I don't care what you
Yeah, so he brought you here, but how invested is he in helping you with your recovery? That's
Well, that was a problem this morning.
Listen, it's not a problem. It's
No, my sister also said, how can he let you?
Listen, he doesn't let you. You do it yourself,
Oh.
by the way, right? But, and again, and I've said this, you know, I can't date somebody who keeps alcohol in the house. Well, actually, I can, but I don't because I make that choice not to because it makes it harder. Can other people have alcohol in their house? Do I go to Hades? Is her husband's a normal human being? He has a drink once in a while. They have a bar. Does it bother me? No, it doesn't. But would I be okay living with somebody who drinks? No, I wouldn't. And in the beginning, it's a conversation to have to say, you know what? I need help. You want me to do this. I know that you want me to get well. I'm going to need your help. Because going out to a bar together and eating a bunch of crap isn't that's good. That's you going out to the bar and are you going out to Walgreens and bringing me home, you know, a bottle of tequila. It's not okay. And it's not okay for me. And it's a choice that I get to make. And I believe that that's a conversation that it would behoove you to have. I used behoove.
You did.
I love that word.
So I also just wanted, there are a lot of new people as well on Facebook, so I just wanted to turn this around to explain how this relates to us for those of us who have had bariatric surgery, because it's really important. So having bariatric surgery, they take away a lot of our stomach. That's if you did a sleeve or depending on the surgery you had. So we don't get those, we can't use food that we used before.
You can 10 years later.
But I'm talking about the people just stepping in that are questioning where they're at. So we can't use our go-to best friend and our drug of choice, which is the food, that helped us land in the position that we were in, that got us to that point of making that decision to have surgery. So this is the process that we're talking about, where it's changing the thinking to be able to live life differently, okay, to actually live life and be present and be happy. You know, I see a lot of posts of people saying, do you think I'll ever be able to laugh again or have fun again or be happy again? And these are people who went for surgery and lost a lot of weight and thought that the thin would make you happy and everything would be fixed. It doesn't. The problem isn't with this. The problem is with this. And until we fix the problem or work on the problem, nothing changes.
Yeah, so that scale makes us happy for a sec. And I'm going to tell you, and you talk about this, and I want to clarify a little bit. So you had surgery, and then after your surgery, in the beginning, you have certain restrictions, right?
Right.
Except that I've seen 2 patients in my office in the last month that both of them had 3 months out past their surgery, and both of them, that's all they were eating was starch. And you know, I tell them, in 3 years, you're going to be back here. You're going to lose 110 pounds. You're going to be back here because you gained 150. And they don't believe me because they think that everything's going to stay the same. First of all, the fact that you could go for a surgery and then not do what you have to do and then go for another, or not make better choices. and then go have another surgery. That's what I was talking about, like the willingness to be put under anesthesia and to spend 15 grand on a surgery. That willingness comes easily, right? Let's fix the problem now.
Right, and people don't consider that there are also people who have complications after surgery, and it's not a quick fix. You know, for us that think that dieting is a willpower and food addiction is a willpower issue, that surgery will fix it. It was the same as I thought I fixed stuff when I took drugs or I smoked cigarettes or whatever the story was. I thought it was a quick fix. It is not. It's a lifelong commitment. It's not something, firstly, being a food addict and stepping into recovery is a whole animal on its own. You know, that in itself is its own process. Having surgery on top of that is a totally different commitment to a different type of process, because we can never treat ourselves the same way we did before, or we'll land up in exactly the same position or worse.
But emotionally, the process is the same.
Right.
And so this part, the spiritual or emotional or the getting some happy or changing our perspective part, that's the same. And that's what needs to be looked at if you want to get well. And that's what we look at here. We're not pro-surgery, we're not against surgery, we're not for diets, we're not against. We do abstinence from starches and sweets because of the dopamine receptor. Anybody that wants to know more about the dopamine receptor, go up to sowhywait.net. There's a really good video on there from a doctor who explains it pretty well. So we talked, yes.
Bonnie shared it to What's Eating You on our Facebook group yesterday, so you can access it through there as well.
And Bonnie shared it yesterday, so you could access it from our Facebook as well.
Awesome.
Yeah, and so it's really great, and it's you hearing from somebody else instead of me about the dopamine receptor and the actual physical, not this part of the addiction, but the actual physical addiction, which is like a physical addiction to cigarettes or to crack. Except they say that sugar is 7 times more addictive than crack is.
So I just wanted to touch on 2 other things that Stacey said as well. One is, you know, for a lot of people stepping into workshop, and we discussed this yesterday, it's really triggered. You know, when we start working on ourselves, our disease doesn't want, our addiction is a crazy disease. It's one of those diseases that denies its existence. It's the only one that says you don't have it when you actually have it. And not only that, it's the one that fights against you in your own head, that when you start working on getting better, it really gives you the most resistance, because the person we fight with the most is really ourselves. So after doing workshop, for a lot of us, we really triggered that all we want to do is go and use afterwards.
Because we're looking at how we're feeling, and we're used to changing the way that we're feeling with our drug of choice. And so now I'm talking about how I feel, and now what am I going to do? What you're going to do is reach out to your community, because everybody else has been there too. That's what they're going to do.
Right, and that was the other point that I wanted to bring up. We have a really vibrant community that's available 24/7. It's on sowhywait.net. It costs you nothing to join. When you're struggling and you're out and you've got your cell phone or you're in front of the computer, just put out a message to someone saying, listen, I'm hanging on the edge of the cliff and I need someone to talk me down.
Yeah.
You know, that's what we do, is we support each other. We're a non-judgmental community. We're here invested in each other getting better, because we're all in the same place. We're not alone going through this.
Oh, thank you.
Excuse me.
Liz, how are you?
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm doing well.
Liz is out of the country.
Oh, she's out of the room.
She's still here.
She's
She's
out of the
here.
room. That's okay. Yeah, they're still on the computer.
Oh, sorry.
It's all good. Liz, you're out of the country, and so you're on vacay. And how are you feeling about sticking to abstinence while you're on your vacation?
Is she talking?
Yes, she is.
We
We
can't-
lost the sound. Yeah, I can't hear you.
It's okay.
You don't need to
Just
feel
come
terrible.
back to.
Okay, all right. What were you saying? Did you want to add something in? Yeah, Liz, I'm going to get right back to you as soon as we get the sound back on.
I had my surgery a long time ago, in 2005.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, like, back then, I can't believe you even have patients that cheated, or whatever you want to say, on their diet. I mean, I couldn't even swallow anything for 2 years.
Okay.
You know, and then as the years go on,
Mm-hmm.
my portions are like, now they're normal.
Well, I don't know how normal they are, because I eat normal
No.
portions.
No, I'm saying, like,
I mean, you can
I
eat
can
whatever
eat-
you want to eat.
no. I can eat sort of what I want to eat, but like, this much amount or whatever, and then I can eat it in 2 hours, and then 2 hours, and that's what starts happening.
Mhm.
You just change you manipulate.
To fit, you change your life to fit into your addiction. Right.
So you can't eat like this much, but in an hour you can.
Right, I gotcha. As long as you eat it this. It's like when someone's dehydrated and we tell them take 2
Yeah,
sips
I mean,
of Gatorade and 2 sips of Gatorade.
I
and
can't
2 sips,
eat
right?
more than this, let's
Okay.
say, but
Okay.
in 2 hours I can eat again.
Okay.
And actually, you brought up a really good point because people don't realize this, especially if you've been sleeved. You know, for me, I've been sleeved. Our stomach is a balloon. We can stretch it out. You know,
Yeah.
it's smaller, but and in the beginning we eat this much, and if we keep pushing food in and we keep doing the things that they don't tell us not to do, you're going to land up in a pretty much similar position than when you started. I know many people that have gained the weight back or more than the weight back, and some people have gone for more than 2 revision surgeries, so they're subjecting themselves to more and more surgeries afterwards.
I see those patients every single day. You know, every single day. Everybody's got their type 2 diabetes back, and everybody's got their high triglycerides back, and everyone's got their fatty liver disease back, and everybody's got, you know, their heart disease back. Everybody gets all of those gifts back. That's how you guys gift yourself. I'm going to gift myself by, I'm going to reward myself. I've had a hard day. So I'm going to reward myself by doing this so I could stick a couple of injections of insulin in my arm 4 times a day. That's how I'm going to reward myself. Liz, I'm going to get back to you. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
Okay, awesome. So you're on vacay, out of the country.
We went with you on vacay.
How is it being abstinent?
It's been fine. I was worried before I got here. I'm here with my girlfriend. This is her native country, so we're spending a lot of time with her family, and I don't speak the language, and most of the people here do not speak English, very, very little.
So awesome.
So I was a little bit worried about, you know, because I know we're eating with family, we're eating out at restaurants, you know, everything is out of my control. So coming out, I was a little bit nervous, but, you know, I let my friends know before we left for the trip that I was very serious about staying abstinent from sugar and starches, and they've been very supportive, and it's actually been very easy since I've been here. We just go wherever we're going, and I look at what is, you know, being served, and I know what I can have. I know that I can't have potatoes or rice or whatever.
But you choose not to.
I'm not wearing alcohol when everyone else is.
Yeah, and those are choices.
So it's been pretty easy.
Those are choices that you make, and I'm going to talk about willingness because Liz is on vacation in Colombia and did workshop yesterday, and is here at our meeting today.
And not only
so
that, she's
way commendable.
Yeah, she's posting her gratitude list. She's doing every single thing that's been asked
every single thing.
To get well.
Yeah, I'm really super. And again, I'm going to say this: when Liz first came in, she for sure hated me, and you know, you were in that place where, you know, I'm not an addict. I don't even know I am here, you know, or maybe I am an addict, but I don't know what you people are talking about. And in the beginning, you were pretty pissed off. And remember, I gave you that assignment and you were hating on me so much because I had you do that assignment. She did it anyway. Now she's in Colombia and abstinent and smiling because she's getting some recovery, because she's recovery. I'm really proud of you. I really am. Yes.
I'd love to just say something about what you said because it's really important. You said it's really easy to eat the things that you choose to eat. You know, when I first stepped into recovery, I thought, what am I going to eat? I mean, that for me was a real panic attack for me as a food addict who'd been eating the same thing over and over and over and over again. That was a really difficult thing for me to step into. Today, it's really easy. Today, for me, it isn't. I've got so many more choices than I had before. My diet was so limited before because I kept telling myself these are the only things I can have.
Or that I like.
Or that I like, or it's quick, or it's easy, and it's cheap, and it's whatever the stories are that I tell myself. Life is so much more fuller today in terms of those choices. And not only that, I've got a life. You know, I find I spend less time thinking about food, you know, when it comes to eating at meal times, I think about,
right?
But I actually have a life between meals, whereas before I had meals between meals and I had thoughts about meals between meals.
Right, and chaos and chaotic thoughts in your head. And yeah, being an active addiction is not that much fun, you guys.
And you also said something. You said Liz is really smiling and happy, and
Mm-hmm.
she is. And you know, we sat in workshop yesterday. There were times when we actually were hysterically laughing because we learned to laugh again.
Yeah.
Life doesn't become as serious. Stuff happens, but we learn to enjoy ourselves and other people again. And that's one of the greatest gifts of recovery.
And this one over here, who's still, I don't know what you're doing
Oh, I was
texting,
gonna
I should
quote
yell
her
at you.
thing.
But, oh, cool.
Oh.
But is sitting here smiling. And she was all kinds of pissed off. When was it? Whatever night we had the last meeting that you were mad at me. And talk about willingness, about showing up, about doing your work, about coming back, about using one of the tools that you got yesterday. Little tiny tool that you got yesterday that this morning already gave you some happy.
Yeah, and it's when Haiti said life between life instead of between meals. I already forgot the quote, but I noticed that yesterday I was just happy not even having to do anything, which was very different for me because I'm always needing to go.
Chaos.
Yeah.
Active addiction in my brain. Da, 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 da. Yeah.
Yeah, and I loved whatever I did didn't even matter, but it was like quiet. Like it was just fun and relaxing, and whether I did or didn't do, it didn't matter. I was just like in that space of like
Yeah.
it actually was a weekend. Like I don't think I ever really appreciated a weekend because I'm always like trying to figure out what to do,
So
where
you
to
didn't
go.
miss the movie. Right? You didn't miss the movie. You lived your life that day.
Right.
Good job, you.
Yeah.
Laura, how's your little girl?
So she's okay. My daughter had a wisdom teeth out on Friday.
I know. She
and,
looks so cute in the
she's
picture.
okay. Today's day 3, and apparently day 3 is supposed to be the day that they have the most swelling and like yuck. So, yeah, she's all right. She's going through it.
So tell her your crazy friends in Florida sent her a hug. And how are you doing? How are you doing?
I'm okay. I'm all right. I mean, I really am. There's not a whole lot going on. I'm just very much in the middle of taking care. I feel like I have a newborn again. Yeah. So things are all right. They really are. I'm all right.
Oh, okay. All right. If you have anything to share, anything you want to add, then just go ahead and pick up your hand or do something, and then we'll talk with you again. But it's nice to see your face this morning.
So
Yes, good to see you.
we also have some newcomers.
Yes, we do.
We've got Linda who's joining us from London.
Okay. Hi, Linda.
Friend Linda.
She's probably gonna be angry at me.
She's
Okay.
muted.
So Linda,
She unmuted.
Okay, good.
good morning.
Good morning.
So, and you're from London?
I'm from England.
Yes. And
I'm in England.
And we have Jess, who isn't with us today, who's usually with us just about every meeting, and she's in England as well. I know it's like a big place, but it would be awesome if they're kind of close to each other. So we'll have to.
It doesn't seem big compared to the rest of you.
And how are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Okay, and you're listening today because?
Because I'm a friend of Bonnie's. How about that for playing?
Perfect. Perfect. So it's her fault. And is there anything that you hope to get out of this meeting, or are you just listening to listen?
I'm listening to listen, but I'm also listening. In the things that you say you're grateful for, I will say it's her fault, but I will say thankful for it.
Okay,
I'm grateful for my friendship.
It's her. It's on her.
Okay. Okay. Well, we're glad that you're here, and we hope that you get some takeaways today. And then if you have any questions or you want to share, please just let us know.
I'm sorry I'm late.
You're never late here, and we don't say we're sorry. We say we're awesome. So you say, I'm awesome, I'm Linda, and I'm in England. That's what you are. Okay?
I'm also late.
There's no such thing as late in our meetings. You got here exactly when you were supposed to. Okay?
And you know what? Seeing you in short sleeves when I have my eating on is just it's just amazing.
And we're freezing here today. It's 68 degrees.
That's such a shame.
Yeah, 68. We're like freezing. We got Angeli's here in long sleeves, all dressed, and yeah. Oh, you are too. That's right.
Sweater.
We had frost yesterday. I know nothing about the 12 step. I know nothing about recovery from any sort of addiction. That's something that's
Okay.
affected my life for. So I'm really I really don't have. I'm really completely clueless as well as all water.
Well, that's awesome. So there's a lot to learn. We're not affiliated with any of the A's, OA, AA, NA, any of that stuff, although shout out to all of those amazing groups. And so we're not a 12-step program, but we do talk about changing our perspective and so that we could change our behaviors, looking at things differently, and learning how to get some happy. So I'm really glad that you're here.
So I just wanted to bring
And that's why we have you.
Sorry. I just wanted to
Why
bring.
we have you listen to
Bit of lag, yeah.
Okay, so I just wanted to bring something up. So I made a decision, and I haven't discussed it with Felice, but whoever.
Okay.
Okay, so for the people who are live streaming us, if you give us a thumbs up and type yes, we're going to give away one of our 2-hour workshops that's coming up on the 15th of November. We're going to give it to the person at the end of the session. We're just going to randomly select someone. Give us a thumbs up, say yes, me on Facebook. On the 15th of November, we have a 2-hour workshop about holiday binging because we have Thanksgiving coming up, we have Christmas coming up, we have New Year's coming up. It's a really important topic, how not to do it.
Not to do it.
How not to binge, okay. There is a solution, so give us the thumbs up, put your name there, say yes, me, and you will be in the running.
Okay, that's awesome. Good idea.
Okay, I also wanted to mention something else. People who join us aren't just food addicts. An addict is an addict in the way that we see it. Some of us cross addict, some of us don't. We all have the same challenge, which is dealing with our addiction and stepping into a solution. So no matter where you're at, you are welcome in our meeting.
Yeah, so it doesn't matter what you choose to pick up. It always matters why we choose to pick up. Yes, Dawn?
I just wanted quickly to say, I've been thinking, we talk about it's not, it's, our minds that are the problem.
Correct.
But I also feel like it's our hearts and souls that are the problem because they really need to be fed. I mean, a lot of people probably think, well, how am I going to change the way that I think? It's just automatic, and I've always thought this way, and this is how I think. And I think that when you open your heart and try to feed your soul, that your thoughts sort of follow in that growth.
Mm-hmm.
I find that connection to be very, very true for me.
I think that you're 1,000% right. And we do know, because we touched on, if you don't have the willingness to listen, the willingness to change, the willingness to open up your heart, right? The willingness to actually change our souls a little bit, then we don't get well. We just stay stuck and sick and scared. And that's where we stay. And we have that attitude that, I'm never going to get better. And so it's saying, you know what, right now I'm going to do whatever you tell me to do or whatever you suggest because I'm so sick and my way isn't working. And so what am I willing to do to make that change, right? We talk about doing a gratitude list. Do a gratitude list. Like, isn't it so funny that we push back because we don't want to be grateful? Like, okay, let me get some happy, but I want to be grateful.
Well, you don't want anyone.
And if I'm grateful, what? Right? And why would I have to write that down? That's so stupid. I don't know why you make me do a gratitude list because it's so stupid. Because if I do a gratitude list and I have them and I write them down in a book and I keep them in my head all day long, I'm grateful for everything. Really? Like, are ya? Like, why don't you be grateful for this suggestion and put it out there in the universe and share with others? You guys, gratitude begets gratitude. Look at your strength for the day. Give yourself that pat on the back. Say good job me. You know what? Today, my strength for today was I showed up. My strength for today was, even though I was angry, I listened. My strength for today was I'm going to do what somebody told me to do because today I'm willing.
And today I'm willing because I'm struggling and I'm unhappy and I'm empty on the inside. And even if I don't want to change on the long term, at least I'm willing to listen today to something different. And maybe if I keep coming back, I'll take what I need from it. And if I don't need anything, I can leave it as well.
And if I don't need anything, maybe I've got something to give to somebody else. You guys, service, man. Why are you here? Like, why are we here? If we can't reach our hand out to somebody else, why are we here? So that's my thing.
This has actually been something that's been going through my head for a little bit. So
Uh-oh.
I see people complaining a lot on Facebook. They're either complaining of what people have done or not done, or the state of the environment, and all the state of all these different things. And there's a lot of complaint photos to support different things. But the question is, what are you willing to do to make that change and to step into to making the difference as well? So there's a certain point that we can talk and we can complain, but at a certain stage, we need to make a decision of what are we willing to do to make that change happen.
Or we don't.
Right.
Right. And so we stay stuck and sick and scared and miserable. You guys, that's a choice that I make, right? Life happens. I get scared. Maybe I get resentful, or I get angry, or I get hurt, or I get sad. That happens to all of us. We're human beings. Do I want to ask for help? Do I want to learn how to feel better? Do I want to know that everything happens in the universe that's happening, but the way that I look at it can help me, and in turn put me in a position where perhaps I can help somebody else today? And so it's up to you. Stay stuck and sick and scared, or say, you know what, like you said, just for today. Today I'm ready to make a change. It ain't gonna hurt you to be grateful. I don't know anybody who did a gratitude list and then the earth swallowed them up because they fell in because it was very bad for them. Like, I don't know anybody like that. So, hi Karen. I'm gonna get to you, Angela.
Good morning, good morning.
Hi.
I'm good.
You're walking your puppy.
Well, actually, I'm back now, so I'm able to be
It
more
looks
consistently
gorgeous.
on, but I was finding her stick. So yeah, I'm excited about the prospects, the possibilities out of this workshop yesterday.
Yep,
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
we didn't say anything.
I'm hearing voices in my head.
Welcome to the club.
Yeah, it happens to the best of us.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm working hard on recovery, and staying abstinent is not easy, and I struggle every day, but I'm still managing to get it done, and that's what counts, I think.
Yeah, and the thing that what counts too is that you talk about it, that you show up, that you're always willing to do the work. You left me a message yesterday that you're looking forward to next workshop, and for you, it's always good job you. I mean, with people like
Thank you.
like Karen and Laura who have already been through the workshop, that have already been through a workshop, that come back again because they figure, well, it got a little bit better the first time and it's going to get even better the second time. When you talk about, it's a couple of hours on a Saturday. I mean, there's a lot of other stuff you could be doing with that time, and instead you guys choose some self-care and some staying open-minded and willing to get even better. Angeli's done it about 643 times, right? At least, right? And yesterday we had a conversation about, it's so funny, because Angela's like, yesterday in the car, she's like, I think it was a really good workshop, and I got so much out of the workshop, and it always makes me giggle, because I always say to you guys, we don't see the world the way that it is. We see the world the way that we are. And so as she gets better, she sees everything differently, right? So as you get better and better and better, you have other stuff to look at and to get even better at. And so I think that that's awesome. So, but every time you say that, I giggle to myself, because, yeah.
So when you speak about willingness, Karen yesterday sat in a workshop for 2.5 hours. Today she's in the meeting. Thursday she was at the meeting. She keeps showing up.
Yeah, she does.
And that's for a lot of us, because we step into the workshop. Some people would go, oh, I was in the workshop yesterday. Why do I need to go to a meeting today? The thing is, honestly, the more we work on ourselves, the more we learn about ourselves. It's all about ourselves. This is not so much about anyone else. This is about us.
Yeah, exactly. In
And
a good way.
And then I also know that the more I work on myself, the more I see there is to do for working on myself. And so it's one of those synergistic kinds of things that the more you do, the more there is to do. And I just want to come back and come back and come back.
Yeah, and the better you get, right? The easier it gets.
Yes.
Right? And then we find out after a couple workshops, right, Ange, maybe you want to touch on this, I don't know, is that the stuff that you're looking at isn't so big anymore.
Mhm.
You know, like when you first show up, you have these problems that you think, I can't live, I can't breathe, I can't, and then it's like your problems or your challenges get smaller, and then it's kind of like fine tuning. You know, it's like, okay, now I'm going to fine tune my life a little bit more and get even some more happy.
And focus on the important things, which is enjoying the moment, being present in the moment, our relationships with ourselves, with other people, you know, all the important stuff, and not that physical material stuff of the food and the stuff. And you know, this is a different kind of program. This is working on us on a spiritual level. And for those who are religious, great. For those who are spiritual, great. You know, it's working on the important things that transcend beyond the physical.
And learning how to do things just like saying, okay.
And I just wanted to say something, because you brought up something really important, service. You know, we have people in the room who come here that just give of themselves, like just selflessly, and help pass a message forward that recovery really is possible. Angeli, Ahmed, West Broward Club, you know, thank you. Dawn also steps into service. You know, everyone, Bonnie stepped into
yesterday, thank
you know, people do their part in helping others who are struggling, because struggling as an addict and sitting in that place is horrific. It's the saddest place to be.
Ange,
Yes.
what's up, girl?
I don't know. You said everything I was going to say.
Well, repeat it then.
Well, you asked me to speak to doing the workshop a million times. I didn't do it a million times. I did it like 10.
Yeah.
Really. We've done stuff.
She's only really million. So.
Yeah, so you and I have done step work, give or take 10 times, like about 10 times. And yeah, each time it's something different. Like in the beginning, I still remember the first time I did step work, it was like, I thought, how are we going to change any of this? Like, this is stupid. And you even talked about the gratitude list. I was giggling because,
Speak a little louder, baby.
okay, I didn't say sorry. The gratitude list, I always remember. I didn't tell you at the time, because at the time I did everything you said. But after, when I got more comfortable with you, I said to you, you know, you told me to do this gratitude list, and I thought to myself, what is doing a gratitude list going to change? Like, this is stupid. Like, it really is. If I write down 3 things I'm grateful for in my strength for today, how is that going to change or get me to get better or anything? And then I didn't say anything. I just kept that thought to myself, and I continued to do it. And then after, I was able to see, like, oh, that small step of stepping outside of our head and choosing to be grateful for the things that we actually have in our life really changes our perspective and the way we look at things and the way we look at life spiritually and on different levels than just the physical and what we have. And so point of all of that is that if you haven't done your gratitude list, it's a really good thing to get you going to step into your recovery. And then in terms of the workshop, yeah, I mean, or not the workshop, for me working on my recovery, each time you do the steps, or our version of the steps, I know we don't call them steps,
Right,
but yeah, it's different. And yesterday, I know you were laughing at me when I was saying how great I thought the workshop went, but I really, for me, like I connected a different piece that I hadn't seen before. I don't even remember. Do you remember what I was telling you? I don't remember either. But I was like, oh, I'm gonna get this different piece of the proverbial puzzle, and I was really excited about it because it was just step 1.
And you know, I'm going to interject for a sec. And so last week you had a little bit of a challenge, and Angeli had, so drug addicts have drug dreams. When we're having a difficult time with something and we're not sure how to deal with something, we'll have those dreams where we got stoned in our dreams and we wake up. So funny, most people are like, oh my God, for me it's like, oh wow, like I used it and I'm going to pee clean.
I had the same
it's okay. But your life is changing right now. You're applying to school. You're going to start dental school soon. And that's a big change. And addicts don't love change. And so that's a big change. And last week you were having drug dreams, right? You were having food dreams and waking up scared, actually.
Yeah.
And it's funny because you had talked to me about it, and I told you, it's like an alcoholic having, I drank all night dreams. And the thing is that you've got about 17, 18 months clean, 18, 19 months, 20 months clean, whatever. abstinent, and she works on her recovery all the time. And still, when we're fearful, right? When we're scared, when we're resentful, when we're angry, when we're worried about what's happening in the future, our brains Google is still, I'd feel better if I used. Like we forget what it looked like 115 pounds ago, or we forget what it looks like to be drunk and fall down the steps. Like we forget those things. It's amazing. Yes.
Well, what happens is, just to add to what you were saying, what happened is that I had these interviews happening and all of that, and I kept saying to you, I'm not here. I feel like I'm not here. Like this, like it's weird. Like I'm here, but I feel like my mind is like almost too happy. It's like in this
Endorphin.
weird, right?
Yeah.
Like 24/7.
Yeah.
And then I knew I was gonna crash and come down off of that. And when that happened, then I started having those dreams and other dreams and a lot of fear-based stuff. And I think up until last week that I talked to you about it, I was stuck in the thinking. So yeah, I mean, I guess it just goes back to no matter how much we have clean, how much time our minds go back to that.
Yeah, our brain still remembers that we're addicts. Difference being that now she could reach out to somebody in the community and say, I'm scared and this is what's going on and what do I do?
And the minute I reached out to you is the minute it stopped. Actually, it stopped, and last night I had a dream like that. But it had the minute I told you it, I had been dreaming that for like 6-7 days in a row, and then the minute I said something, it was done.
Yeah.
So you said something really important, is that you reached out to someone, because when we are not in community and we're out there on our own, we can sit in that place for a really, really long time that becomes either reality for us and we act out on it, or it becomes something so consuming and that's all that we're thinking about that we can't get beyond it. And I just wanted to stop so many times, but each time we do it, we focus on something else. You know, we come in at different places. This time you're focusing on your thinking. I'm focusing on finances and that side of my life. And each time we do it, we focus on a different aspect. So people who are choosing to be in the workshop, you're able to change it to where you are at. Even though it's a similar program, it gives us the ability, it's that flexible to be able to work on us at all different stages of wherever we happen to be.
Right, because it's not about the food. So yesterday you crossed off the food word and you put in fear.
Right.
And so, and it read exactly the same when she read the paragraph with the word fear in it each time, instead of the word food.
Before that, I had, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I mean,
go ahead. No.
Before that, we had done acceptance.
Acceptance,
Then before
right.
that, we had done, each time we do
We did
something
resentments.
different.
We've done like
Negative
everything.
thing, yeah.
So negative
The
thinking.
food was the first one I did with you, and then it's going to be different for everyone. When you get to the point where you're quote unquote over it, you'll switch on to something else. But for me, we did food once, and then after that, I think we did acceptance a couple of times, and we're even doing acceptance
Or lack of acceptance.
right now. So it just depends what you need.
Yeah.
So the one thing I've learned about addicts, I mean, I've learned a lot of things about them, is that we're really complex and very sensitive people. So anyone who really wants to get into a free workshop, start liking us now, because in 2 minutes Angie's going to select someone and they're going to get a free workshop that they can participate in. Next week on Thursday, actually we don't have a meeting, I think on Thursday. Please sign up to the website because the meeting calendars are updated there, and it's the best place to find out what's going
I
on.
see some lunchtime meetings.
We're going to start that from next month. At this stage, we're kind of transitioning and there's a lot of change happening. Make sure you signed up so that if anything changes, we can let you know. This is the two of us. We're learning as we go.
Actually, I'm just doing whatever she tells me. That's the way that it works for me, because it's what keeps me happy.
So next Sunday.
It's acceptance, okay.
So what I was going to say is next Sunday, who's ever on our virtual waiting room will get a chance to win a free pass to the workshop. So we've got the 2-hour workshop for the holiday binging. So guys, it's a great workshop. Anyone that's done it, you can reach out on the community, get feedback, see what people are saying, because it's changed my world.
Yeah, and it's so different, when you talk about changing your world, it's so different to be able to walk around in acceptance. And it's so different to be in a position, even for me, where I don't have to be right. And I don't have to have a conversation with you when you say, okay, we're giving this away. Okay. Or, okay, no, we're having meeting Thursday, or we're not having meeting Thursday. Right. Okay. You know what I mean? You know, that part, you know better than I do, and I don't have to be that smart, right? I just have to show up and work on my recovery with you guys. So that, me saying, okay, isn't for you, although it makes your life easier, it's for me because it makes my life happier, right? So easy.
So what Felice is talking about, which it took me a while to understand, is that I don't have to be right all the time.
Right.
You know, that
Right,
need
right.
that I've driven before of needing to be right all the time is where I have to check what my motives are to know why I'm reacting the way that I do, why I need that approval from everyone else. So I need to manipulate the situation for people to like me or love me or whatever that is. So that is part of that acceptance, is just stepping into that space and being okay.
Yeah, and we say that when we don't have any sense of self, you know, if I don't have any sense of myself, then I'm going to look to you for approval, right? And if I don't have any sense of myself, then I'm going to have to show you how right I am. And I'm going to have to show you that I know more than you do. And I'm going to have to show you that I show up happy even when I'm sad. Because if the four of you think that I'm great, then I'm great. And that ain't the way it works. And it's certainly not what we learn in recovery. Certainly not.
Right.
I have no idea what time it is.
So I just wanted to
Got
touch
4
base.
minutes.
So
Okay.
we've already in our 7-week workshop, so that space is closed. No one else can sign up. There's a new one starting in the new year. It's intensive. It's really hard work. You get homework. It is hard work, but it is so well worth it. And I promise you, and I'm willing to put this on the line, you will learn something. Doesn't matter what it is. It's a huge learning experience, and it's about us. So the next one is the 15th of November. If you're interested in more information, it's all on our website. If you would like to find out more and you're not quite sure if you're a food addict or if you're an addict or whatever the story is, go to the website. It's full of resources. We have put so many different tools and resources into our forum, into the What's Eating You forum. It's on sowhywait.net. Pop past. You might learn something new. You might get something that actually works for you.
15th of November.
And
Yeah.
let's just select someone right in front of you on
I
Felice's
know.
phone. Then just look on Felice's phone. Pull it in.
How about I do it on my
You can do it on your phone. She can do
Yeah.
it on her phone. She has it in her hand.
phone? Okay,
Good
I'm
job,
gonna
you.
select Kimberly Dugan. Oh, am I allowed to say the last name?
Oh,
Well,
no,
Kimberly.
just Kimberly.
Okay, so Kimberly, I didn't say her last name. That was
No,
me.
you don't.
Okay, so Kimberly.
Okay, Kimberly,
And we'll
please.
message her.
Yeah, Angie's going to message you, send us your email address, and we will forward you the free ticket. And everyone give her a thumbs up. Well done. We look
Hey,
forward to
Kimberly.
meeting you and getting to know you better.
And so let's do that once a week, because I think it's a great idea. So somebody with their thumbs up will get a 2-hour workshop?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. I will just pick them randomly.
So is this our holiday gift to people?
Okay, it's our Christmas gift. So let's do that once a week. We're going to pick somebody that'll get into a free 2-hour workshop.
Awesome.
Awesome, really good idea.
So does anyone want to, do you want to bring the others back in? So we can just do a quick checkout on Zoom.
They
So,
can see you.
Yeah,
Oh, we
so
just didn't
does
see that.
anyone want to just check it? Kristen, oh, she left already.
Yeah,
So does anyone want to check out quickly?
don't check out. Just.
Ahmed, do you want to have a quick say before we leave?
He's like,
That was
absolutely not.
Just thank you to his Ever workshop. We will see you on Saturday. Check the website about Thursday's meeting, and if you want to take us on.
I'm going to take out. I'm so blessed and so grateful for every one of you. Thank you for being a part of my recovery. I'm blessed and grateful to be in recovery. My name is Dr. Felice Cellini. This is our Sunday morning Why Wait for Recovery community meeting.
And my name is Haiti, and I'm so blessed and grateful to be here. If no one's told you today that they love you, I love you. I look forward to seeing you online. Post your gratitudes on our What's Eating You forum. It's a private space. It is just for us. Have a beautiful week, and peace out, everybody.
Awesome day, everybody. Hi, girlies. Hi, Laura and Karen.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi. Thank you very much.